The club was unrecognisable from the club that I'd grown up with, that that I had watched as a fan, that I'd played for.
There was a lot of turnover that year among the team.
With 3 different head coaches, which is a lot.
And you had like goalies coming and going, players coming and going.
There was this revolving door policy of players that if they didn't think the player was playing well, then they got rid of them and they bring someone else in.
Yeah, behind the scenes, things were probably as bad as they were on the ice,
I mean, we were just worried about getting our paychecks. We were behind. It always seemed like there was drama.
It was bound to get better. It couldn't have got much worse, to be honest.
We obviously that year we finished 9th, missed the playoffs.
There was essentially no one in the building, really. 500, 800 people a night probably. The Big Blue tent was pretty dead and quiet.
And I think there was more people in the car park to demonstrate against the ownership and the way things were being run than there was in the building.
And there were people who were genuinely concerned that the club wasn't going to go past that season.
From my dealings with Paul, it was all fine, and I still talk to him now. And yeah, it was he wanted out. He just he's got a lot of other businesses. He's a pretty clever guy, and he just was this was the one thing that he just couldn't make work. And no offense, it's really hard to make it work in that rink, in the Big Blue tent. 2,000 seats. It's hard to sell sponsorship. It was hard to get crowds. It was everything,
I knew Todd Kelman through Paul Sample, who's my best friend, and had played in Belfast with Todd, so we'd become friends, but through a friend. And he's the most respected guy in British hockey. And it was basically out of desperation that I picked up the phone to Todd and I said, things do not look good for the Cardiff Devils, and my big fear is if somebody doesn't step in, then the Devils will not exist in the next 6 months.
And I said, you have to find an ownership group. You have to put an ownership group together and get them to approach Paul and talk to him about selling the club. And he said, oh, well, I don't have that right now. And I said, what if I did? And he said, do you? And I was like, no, but give me a couple hours. And Steve King and I had always sort of joked about having a hockey team together, about owning a hockey team together.
And straight away my ears perked up and I was like, let's do it. Well, it's not as easy as that, So that was the first conversation that we had. And then it was just a crazy, probably 6 months up to that point where, I was always kind of chasing to see what the progress was. It was slow moving at first. But then, it seemed like there was becoming an opportunity maybe for a takeover change, and it was then, all hands to the deck from then.
My first time in Cardiff was actually meet the owners event at a theatre. I can't remember the name of the theatre. I was on a boys' weekend in Scotland with 3 other buddies, and Todd calls me up and said, hey, you're in Scotland. Hop a flight, come meet the fans. They've been through a bit of a rough experience, I would say, with the last owner. They'd like to hear what you have in store for the team. I go, I'd like to hear how much I've got in store. I don't know. And so I show up at this theater and it's sold out, standing room only. And Terry Phillips, I don't know if Terry's here tonight, but he got up on the stage and interviewed me, and it was a really cool night in my life, and the start of something super special.
And our first trip, we were blown away. The fan engagement, how long this has been a hockey town, and just how upset the long-term fans were that the lack of commitment by the prior ownership. And it was just it really was a nice match made in heaven. We wanted a winning team. I think that the city and the fan base wanted a winning team, and it was just, we're on the same page, let's go.
When the Calgary 4 came in, I think it was relief.
Having Todd involved with all the good work he'd done in Belfast, it was quickly became evident it would be great for the club, and obviously the further we went along, we saw the improvements that Todd was making and how the organisation was kind of doing things the right way, looking after players more, fans. and doing everything. So it was, yeah, initially it was a bit of a shock, but yeah, like I say, once it unfolded, it was clear to see that it was going to be taking the team and the club in the right direction.
For the very first time here, seeing their Cardiff Devils in action for the first time, we have a new ownership group. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Steve Kidd, Tony Hughes, Brad Shostad, and Brian Miller. Ladies and
Six weeks before the season was going to start, and we didn't have any players, we didn't have a coach, so it was then okay, we better get things going.
When Lordo coaches in the NHL, I sure wish it was my idea to make him as a coach, but no, it was 100% Franny.
Andrew Lord hockey to me is Cardiff Devils hockey, the way that it's played with passion, always played the right way.
It was really, it was really Franny that was the one that said, hey, there might be something cooking a little bit here. Can't tell you exactly what, but just trust me a little bit, and can you buy a few days? And tell you, there was one night I almost went to another team, literally.
I was recruiting Andrew Lord quite heavily to move to Belfast, to play for the Giants, not to coach, to play for the Giants. Me and Steve Thornton, I hired Steve to come back and be a coach, and we were recruiting Andrew Lord pretty hard, to the point where it was pretty much a done deal.
He was explaining that when he was injured in his last year in North America, in the American League, he got brought in to do some video.
I showed some interest in the coaching side, so they let me be a fly on the wall. They let me be kind of an eye in the sky. I marked some video. I ran some, extra skates, that kind of thing. And yeah, that really got me going. I always liked the idea of it in the summers. I loved putting drills together with some of my buddies and summer skates and, hockey camps and all that kind of thing. And then with the injury, I didn't think I had too many years left. So it was definitely on my mind. I'd almost taken an assistant job in the ECHL a couple years prior to that. And so, yeah, I was circling around, still wanted to play as much as I could. And it was just the perfect scenario.
You instantly saw his passion for coaching, and obviously started to learn a lot about his knowledge of the game and his attention to detail, his passion, all that stuff just kind of, it became evident pretty quickly once he was in charge, even though he was obviously still playing as well, which is a whole nother kettle of fish to kind of do both of those and be good at both.
I think Lordo, he was an amazing coach. There's no other ways of saying it. I wouldn't be where I am now without Lordo. I think he sometimes he would push your buttons, sometimes he really test you, and sometimes you could go away thinking like, well, that's some words that you can't really repeat on here. But when you sit back and you look and you think, God, man, like he really made us better players.
When he was the player coach, that was my first experience, obviously seeing something like that, him doing the drills, blowing the whistle. To be honest, it was shocking, but impressive how he could manage both, to be honest. Not many people can do it, and he did it, pretty amazingly. But as like a coach, he was demanding, competitive, he probably drove us crazy a lot of the times, but looking back, he got the best out of everybody, and that's what you want. You want a guy to hold you accountable. You want those expectations.
We liked Lordo as a player, and obviously those who were involved, who decided Lordo was the right guy to head us up, played a blinder, because he certainly made his mark on the new Cardiff Devils, that's for sure.
When it happened, it was just all systems go. I was fortunate to be hired, and then I think we had like five, maybe 6 weeks, 6 max for sure, but I think less than that even. And yeah, it was Franny, Todd, and I just going nuts all day, every day.
Nothing was like a 6-week pro where we did a ton of reference checks. Like Lordo would get a name, he'd do like 3 or 4 reference checks. If they checked out, if one of us knew them, bring them in, right? Because we did the whole thing in maybe 4 weeks. Like people always say, we had 8 weeks to build a team. Yeah, but you got to remember, it takes 4 or 6 weeks to get a visa.
It was a lot of late night phone calls. Lordo was in Vancouver, I'm in Cardiff, Todd's over here too. And we all just pitched in. I remember the day that, Todd phoned up, he goes, I've just had this guy, Brent Walton, reach out to me.
So I called him, and Wally, the guy I talked to on the phone that day is the same guy that's taking his shirt off in the stands 10 years later and doing a podcast now. Great guy, but just like very laid back, never had really considered the league. Said, I just want an MBA. I just want to get my schooling and retire. But I promise you I can score for you. Like I'm really, like he was, in that laid back, I promise you I can score from you and I'll get lots of goals, and like how he talks. I was like, sure. And I remember calling Lordo going, I think I got the last guy. Like he was one of the last guys who signed. This Brent Walton, he's a little guy, but like he scores.
Now we've got this guy, Lordo's like Carl Hudson.
A right shot D with a one-timer, they're literally like unicorns.
Yeah, let's take him.
Ben Bounds and Doug Clarkson were the two guys that were new players that were already signed. Obviously, we had like Richie and Chris Jones and Piggott and Batchy were already signed up.
I can remember being out in Fuerteventura, of all places, on holiday with a friend of mine called Chris Sykes, who plays up in Billingham now. And we were actually going on a beach day. That day we decided we were going to the beach, and my mum texted me just as we were leaving the house saying, oh, Todd Kelman's taking over at Devils. So obviously I was like, oh, well, that's good. And then I'm thinking, oh no, like he might not be wanting me anymore, like is my job safe, stuff like that. So I was stressing all day. And we got back to the villa about, I want to say it was probably 4 or 5 o'clock. And obviously straight on Wi-Fi, and there was a message come up from Neil Francis, and he sent it at midday, like 12 o'clock. So I've been stressing all day, and he sent it saying, don't worry, your job's safe, you're going to be our guy. And rest is history really, but yeah, it was a bit of a stressful day, and look, there were no need to stress. If we'd have just stayed at the villa a bit longer, I would have known and been able to relax on the beach.
We always talk about it as the best bunch of misfits that ever were put together.
Yeah, it's funny you describe it as a bunch of misfits, because that's kind of what it was. Guys who didn't fit in somewhere else, but we all seemed to fit in here together. And I think that was really special about that team.
We all just kind of came in, we embraced everything about Cardiff and the arena, and I think it kind of showed. We enjoyed our time a lot on and off the ice, and it was probably honestly one of my most fun years of hockey.
The year before moving to that, it was like night and day, just the feeling around the room, around the team, the organization. I remember meeting the owners early on, and you could tell how committed they were, how passionate they already were about owning this team and what they wanted to grow it into.
There was some optimism that we could turn things around. I don't think any of us expected that it would turn that quickly, to be honest. I mean, we all hoped it would.
The important thing, and Todd said this from day one, is it's not going to be about the results necessarily. It's going to be about how we play the game. We want, our goal for this year is to win back the trust of the fans.
I don't think we were expecting miracles. The club had a 4 or 5 year plan and program, and I think as fans we were just prepared to let it roll.
The person, and I got to give him credit, that believed the most was Lordo.
Yeah, it just was like lightning in a bottle. The guys started clicking. The building started getting sold out there within probably weeks, if not, maybe 1 or 2 months. And that really was a huge advantage too. It was a difficult rink to play in. And I think we played the kind of the right way in there to make it hard on teams.
I'll never forget it, because like we played the Giants in preseason. I think it was our first preseason game, and pretty sure we ran the goalie. There was about 4 Hoth fought, Lordo fought. Lordo was screaming at the bench. And I remember like guys on the other, like I remember Stephen Murphy after going, your new team is an embarrassment. And I was like, this is Devils hockey, baby.
That goal of getting the trust back of the fans was achieved very early on. And then it was kind of, actually, I think it's not just a case of survival this year, and we can actually compete.
Hello and welcome to the Sheffield Arena for Ice Hockey's Challenge Cup. This is Elite League TV, and this trophy is what it's all about. It's the Sheffield Steelers against the Cardiff Devils, two teams that have got a rich history both in this competition and also in trophy winning in British ice hockey.
You could feel the electricity in the building. It was crazy. It was absolutely just awesome. That's, as much as I hate to say it, it's a good arena, obviously, and a full arena there was awesome. And to see half of it being our team or our fans was just incredible.
Yeah, there was an absolute load of us there. I don't know, it must have been about 1,500, 2,000 it felt like. So the atmosphere was great.
I want to say we had 400 or 500 season ticket holders that year, and I think we had 1,800 people at the game. We were only selling 2,000 tickets, so that was every person that was coming to games regularly was in Sheffield.
It really was a big red wall, and the players, because we came out the other side, benches the other side, and we go out into the ice that way, and you saw this big sea of red.
Yeah, I think they couldn't have positioned our fans in any better place for us, to be fair. Obviously, you go into Sheffield, and there was still a good, 6,000 Sheffield fans there or whatever, and they really outnumbered the Devils fans, but they definitely didn't outsing them.
You couldn't picture it any better. It was like perfect for us. From the bench, you could see them on the other side. You could see all the support that we had from them, and you could see how much it meant to them.
We kind of heard how many fans were coming up, but until you step on the ice and you see it and you hear it, you don't really realize. It's like, wow, this is a big deal for not just us, but this fan base.
The Cardiff Devils, winners in '06, formed back in 1986. They're new owners in town as well. They're very much part of the fans who are here. Martin takes the half wall, in control. Looking for the pass, shooting lane is there! Devils take the lead! And it's the coach, Andrew Lord, who pumps it home. And the league's best power play fires. Quick shot from the blue line, takes a huge deflection. And just like that, the Devils have a 2-goal lead. Culligan, the man out in front. And right now, the Challenge Cup is firmly in Devils' hands. And Cardiff enjoys every moment. Has he got a shooting lane? Fires and scores! Cullen Eddy with a master blaster for the Sheffield Steelers. And with 7:22 to go, maybe there's another twist in the Challenge Cup final.
We went up 2 goals, which was brilliant, and then Sheffield got 1 to make it 2-1, and then it kind of, all the momentum was with them, and we had to hang on there.
You kind of actually think in the last few seconds, like, oh, am I going to celebrate? Am I going to chuck my gloves off? Are they going to come off right? Have I got to loosen my gloves up? But obviously it's 2-1, and you haven't really got time to do anything.
You're so close to winning that, but also you have to do the right thing stuff those last 3 seconds.
Right at the end, they had a face-off in our zone. I remember sending Lordo out to take it because I thought if there's anybody that's going to win this draw to win a trophy, it's going to be Lordo.
Huge face-off for Andrew Lord. He wins it. And the Cardiff Devils are the Challenge Cup champions. And the new era in Wales is now very much underway.
When the buzzer finally rang, it was just a relief. It was excitement, the joy, like everyone so excited about what had just happened.
It was just jubilation. It was just awesome. It was just awesome. I can't even put it into words. And I just really felt great for, especially like you think about the fans that were following the team for so long. It was awesome to give it to them because it'd been a long time, obviously, right? So I thought that was just incredible.
Yeah, I still look back on that trophy as one of the most enjoyable, just because of the lows of the year before and the high then of winning that trophy and seeing how much it meant to the fans who had been watching their whole lives pretty much.
That I just remember that game and how many fans came and celebrated, and that's when I really saw what it meant to all of our fans and to the team.
With a new ownership, a new regime, can you feel something special building?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is just the beginning, Ellie, I tell you that, and I can't wait for the future.
Okay, well done. I'm going to try and get the player coach, Andrew Lord. In fact, they're going away from me, Seth, for the moment, but I'll be getting plenty more reaction.
Chris, thank you. They're just embracing right now with the owners of the Cardiff Devils who have been brought down to ice level. And they're all celebrating together, and there's such a good feel-good factor around the Devils at the moment.
It's one of the most important wins I've ever been a part of. It was such relief for Lordo and I and Franny. Like, it was the right thing to do. It kind of justified, for me, it really justified leaving Belfast, because I left a place that I loved, and also it justified like the ownership group coming together and putting their money on the line and taking over the team. It was so special. I don't know if anything will ever compare to that one.
Just having them there to come down on the ice as well to celebrate with us, straight away they'd fall in love with the Cardiff Devils, you know, just from that first visit in October 2014, and the reception they've got. You know, they were the saviours of the club. And for them to actually be there in person when we won our first trophy under the new ownership was, again, you know, I don't think that is a moment that they'll ever forget either.
Nobody deserved to be there more than them for what they had done in turning around this club, and just to be able to celebrate with them, see how happy they were. You could see from the moment they took over the club how committed they were. One thing we always talked about that year, and it came right from the top, was being passionate about being a part of the Cardiff Devils, and they embodied that. So that made it easy as a player to follow that lead.
The Cardiff Devils are the Challenge Cup winners 2015, and that is all about a franchise which is resurgent. And just how far can they go? Wonderful moment for them.
For me, when I think about it, I always remember the picture we had at the end with obviously the fans were on the side opposite the benches, I think. So after the game, we had the picture there, and I don't think I've ever seen that many fans at an away game. And it was such a cool picture, and something was like etched into my mind, because it was, you could just like, obviously being on the ice, just skating in front of the fans, you could just like see how much it meant to them all, and it gives me goosebumps now thinking about it.
It was just a huge moment, a big moment for that team, just with the change, all that we'd been through the year before for those of us that were here, but then also with the new ownership, and it was just kind of built to that through the whole year.
It was extra special, and I just remember us kind of like enjoying the moment. We didn't go in there, I don't think we had too much pressure on ourselves. We just wanted to go in and play and try to win, you know, for this organization. And it was definitely one of the more special moments I've had here in Cardiff.
We won that game and then went back up the week after and got absolutely trounced by them. But there we are, we won the cup.
Once we'd got over that initial hurdle of winning a trophy, it fuels hunger that I can't even describe, that you have to keep winning, you have to keep getting trophies.
And as we won, you just want to win more, and you want that feeling more and more, and you want the fans to be excited, you want them to enjoy that feeling alongside what the team is doing on the ice.
Lane Ulmer with time to kill, gets it out of the zone, and that will do it as the Cardiff Devils in Ice Arena, Wales, win the Challenge Cup for the second time under Andrew Lord, for the second time under the new regime. It was the new ownership group that came in, and this was the trophy which put the Cardiff Devils back on the map.
And the final seconds count down, and for the first time in 20 years, the Cardiff Devils are champions.
The winning's amazing, but to be a part of something like this, and to be with these guys and to be with you and to see what you guys put in is absolutely something I'll never forget. And I know the guys feel the same way. So thank you so much, and let's keep it going.
Drew Paris seals the deal. They would have liked it in regulation for the full 3 points as the Cardiff Devils earn their first ever victory in the Champions Hockey League. The 5-1 scoreline will remain the way it is as the Vancouver Lakers suffer their first defeat in this year's Champions Hockey League.
Awesome. Scores a third goal for the Devils, and that should be a championship goal.
The Cardiff Devils, they've done it. Back-to-back champions.
Morissette, the net's empty. It's over. It's the Cardiff Devils. Already league champions and conference champions. The Cardiff Devils once more are playoff champions.
Running down Riley wildly turns and fires. Higgins with the shot. It's deflected high off the glass, and it's done and dusted. The Cardiff Devils defend their playoff title. They stop the freight train. They stop the Grand Slam ambitions of the Giants.
2 seconds remaining. The gloves are off. The sticks are gone. A three-peat for the Cardiff Devils. A magnificent result. The 6-3 final. History repeats itself as they derail the Grand Slam dreams of the Belfast Giants.
The Cardiff Devils will skate into summer as playoff champions.
Honestly, I thought it was a dynasty. I thought it was incredible. I thought, you know, I thought we were relentless. I thought the guys brought it day in and day out. You think about the leadership we had, the Martins, the Haddads, you know, obviously Marshy and those guys early on, and then, you know, all the way through. I mean, it was just leaders after leaders.
We're thankful to Andrew Lord for kind of doing what John Lawless did in the beginning, that he set the bar very high and he didn't accept any second best. You know, that's how Lawless always used to approach things. Andrew Lord was of the same mindset.
It feels a bit like when we did in the 1990s. We were second, third, first. We're doing the same now again.
And no matter where you've played, obviously, I think you want to win something professionally somewhere, and I feel lucky to have done it as many times as we have.
Those banners up there, it's something that I always dreamed of. Obviously, being a fan of Sheffield, I won quite a lot when I was a kid, and you'd see them lifting banners, and I always think, oh, I'd love to be on a team one day where we lift a banner that I've won, and to be able to lift that many is pretty incredible. And before every game now, I like to get myself into a certain state of mind, and when we're on that blue line, I always look at each individual banner as we're going along and give myself a little smile just to remind me what we have done and what I want to achieve going forward.
Captain or not, I'm just proud that I was a part of those teams. That was an honor to be the captain, but just to have a role on those teams. They were good teams with really good players that we had some good success, and we had a lot of fun together, and we built a good organization here that we were really proud of.
You know, that nucleus, you couldn't ask for a better spine of the team, and you know, it's great that we still got some of those guys playing today. But yeah, you think of the achievements that we made, the amount of trophies that we won, the venture into CHL. Yeah, it's just, back in 2014, we wouldn't have even dreamt of that, but yeah, it became a reality. You know, the transformation off ice as well. Straight away, what grasped me about Todd is that he was always looking to do the right things for the players.
You knew you were going to get treated first class. Everything here was done first class, the best that it possibly could be done, and there was no doubts about that. So you didn't have those off-ice concerns. You knew that Todd was going to do the best he could to take care of the players. The ownership wanted the best for the players, so it was just a big change in that regard, and we were really fortunate that we had that.
A lot of it's set up to take away any excuses from the players. You know, you could be somewhere else and be moaning about your sticks, your apartment, your car, and all that stuff's kind of taken care of.
If you need something new, they get it in for you. If you need a scan, you go for a scan. If you need treatment, you get treatment. And at the end of the day, you have absolutely nothing to worry about at this club apart from playing your best. And I think that that is the way that every club should be run. If they want to have success, you treat your players first. Treat your players well first and foremost.
You know, I think it's pretty cool that I was able to kind of see where we started in the tent, where if we wanted a cold tub, it was a recycling bin filled with water and ice, and now we have nice cold tubs, hot tubs, players lounge. I mean, it's definitely nice, and these are the things you need. It's good for recruitment. It's good to make it comfortable here. It's good to have that type of space and these, amenities. It's good for everything.
All that stuff is try to take care of as much as we can. Obviously, every once in a while, someone's skates don't show up or sticks don't show up, but we try to take away all the excuses so that it's easy to win here. And that was what we said right from the start.
It's lovely to have an ownership that you don't have to worry about, that you don't have to think, are we going to have a team next year? We know we're in the right hands. I'm not sure I've had that with the hockey since probably about 1998.
The first weekend when they came and they were like, they come in, they bring all their friends and family. They bring like 40 people the first weekend way back 10 years ago. They're drinking pints before the game with the fans. They had a meet the owners event in the Bay. Loads of people showed up. They're buying beers for the fans.
I don't think on many teams guys have even met, the team's owners. So, to be able to know them and have them part of this organization is one thing that I'm truly grateful for. And you know, I don't take it for granted. I know it's unique. I know it's special, and it's been great getting to know not just them, but their families as well. You know, I think that's kind of represents kind of this club. We're a big family. We take care of each other.
Especially Steve and Kim and Brian and Sharon, I class them as family. Steve and Kim are just unbelievable for me, been unbelievable to me. I've been out there and spent weeks with them, spent weeks living with Brian and Sharon when I couldn't stay at Steve and Kim's, but no, the owners, they're awesome. Again, they give you nothing to worry about. They come, they support you, and they are like fans, like a big group of friends, or they are a big group of friends that are just fans and they want to see this club succeed.
And this is like a labour of love for them, I think. They're just passionate fans, but who happen to own the team almost, it seems like.
Getting to know them over the years is fantastic, just genuine good people. Really cared about the people around the Cardiff Devils, really cared about all the people that work here, all the players, really approachable, just really great people, the kind of people that you want leading an organization like this.
Incredible guys, all of them, and I, obviously I put Todd in that category too. Just the perfect balance between intensity and passion and fun, and they just do it all.
When they're in town, it reminds me, I'm like, this is fun. Like, it's fun. We're doing this because it's fun, and we are a fun thing. We're professional sports, but we are what everyone do for their fun and their passion on the weekends.
For the Devils, with such a history, it's kind of sad that we had such a period of time where you just didn't know what was coming around the corner. And the fact that whatever's coming around the corner we're going to enjoy it, is brilliant.
To cap off the 10 years, I'm really proud of what we've done, and I'm looking forward to the next 10.
What comes next? What happens next? What's the evolution of the ownership of you guys and of this hockey club? And this is a question to all four of you.
It's hard to look 10 years from now. It's day to day, right? It's week to week. We want to give you guys the best team we can and win championships. So hopefully we do it, and we can have this talk in 6 months and celebrate. But that's what it's all about. It's hard to think that far ahead, because obviously we're all committed to winning, and we're committed to you guys. We want to give you the best product, and we're going to do all we can, and Todd's going to do all he can to make sure we do our best.
Over the next, as I look forward to the next 10 years, other than things that are beyond our control, I think we're back to this stability, right? We've got a core group of fans, we've got a core group of management, coaching, core players that, a lot of guys say, okay, I'll come for a year, but I've got a feeling that you're going to see a lot of the players that are on the ice tonight, next year and the year after. Guys come here and they don't want to leave.
We're going to get our share. We've had our share for sure over the 10 years. We've had a lot of titles, and we'll get them again because we know how to do it. And it doesn't always work every year. You're going to make mistakes. That's sports. That's why it's so wonderful, because it's so unpredictable. If it was so predictable, it wouldn't be as fun. But we put everything into it that we can.
When we first started 10 years ago, we had no idea what we were in for. We had this great run, and it just felt like it would never end. And then it did with COVID, and we would fight our way back. So for me, I would love, this team to be, with our involvement, continue to be one of the best teams in this league for a long, long time. That's what I'd like to see.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Good to see you.